Hey everyone, welcome to Reddit Readout. Today we are checking out Confession. Story 1. I faked having Tourette's syndrome with my friend. I remember one time when I was younger, about 9 or 10, I had just learned about serious disorders. I was very gullible and I never got out much cause I went to a private school. I had a friend very close to me and we would usually talk every day. We had this program called After School Link and we would pretty much stay after school and learn new things, eat, do homework, play, or just wait for our parents to pick us up after school. There were most kids there, but really I would stay here very late with this particular girl that I was close to. One day we had learned about these disorders such as Down syndrome, Tourette's syndrome, and dyslexia. After me and her had learned about what these syndromes do to people that have them, we really could not stop thinking about them. Me and her walked to our gym time to do things in the gym like dodgeball and such. Instead of participating in the sports, we decided to sit out and talk about these disorders, specifically Tourette's. I also forgot to mention we had watched videos on how these affected people. We started to show each other examples on how the tics in the videos were shown. Pretty much we started thinking it was fun and wouldn't stop doing it. The teacher hadn't stopped us or anything, so we thought it was okay. We started telling each other how we had different tics like mobile tics or general tics, just making up names for different kinds of tics that affected us like the way we walk or talk. Honestly, it was just all so strange and makes me feel sad to know even the teachers wouldn't stop us, but just a confession. By Anon. Story 2. I would steal a lot of stuffs, no matter what it is, and a lot of money when I was young. When I was in grade 5, my best friend brought a phone in school. Whoa, the wallpapers, themes, games, there was hundreds of them. Immediately I wanted to own that thing. So one time I went to her house planning on stealing, and while she was with her mother in the kitchen, I stole her phone and bid them goodbye for now. Guess what? I was caught the day after, guess how? And I also got a nice beating from my aunt. And one time when I was grade 9, I was walking with my close friend after school towards home. Out of nowhere she opened her bag pocket and gave me 500, and she kept 500. She said that 500 was for me. You know how happy I was, but she snatched the money and laughed so hard, saying the auntie who borrowed from her mother asked her to give it to her mom and it was her mom's money. Being poor and how she made fun of me, and thinking about that temporary happiness, I wanted that real happiness back, so on the way, there was a shop we stopped there to eat an ice cream. We were waiting, she kept her bag on the sofa and went to pay from her pocket money, and that's when I stole the 500 again. Then she went home and we departed for today. I was caught again the day after, any guess how? P.S. I got no. There's more, but I'll stop here. Story 3. Growing up, when I was mad at my parents, I would throw away spoons. When I was probably in middle school, whenever my parents would ground me or I'd get mad at them, I would throw away the metal spoons slowly so they didn't notice. I would also go into my room and turn the lights on and off to raise the electric bill. That's it. Story 4. I stole money from my parents as a grown-ass woman. I don't know why I did it, already in the process of signing up for therapy. I moved back in with my parents this past year since I could not find work in my field in my city after months of daily job searching. Moved. Picked up a side job I genuinely enjoy. My parents are kind enough to let me stay for a literal $200 a month. I'm working almost every day out of each month trying to save money to move back to my primary city, where I can work in my field again, and can only do that thanks to them. I was drunk the other afternoon and took a $50 bill from my mother's wallet. I remember being so confident about it. I spent it on gas to go for a drive, while sober. I was so full of guilt the next day and replaced it. But I don't know WTF came over me. I've never intentionally stolen from anything but stores before, from a bad depression and cry for attention when I was a teenager, but no one even ever found out. It was one tube top and a couple makeup pencils over the course of years. Going to talk about with my therapist once I can get my insurance reproved. But I am currently so disgusted with myself I needed to vent. Story 5. I'm hiding the extent of my dependence of drugs from friends and family. Hey everyone! I'm writing this post because I don't know what else to do that would not involve blowing up my whole life. Background: I live in an East Coast well-to-do city and work in a fast-paced industry. I am married and in my mid-30s with a preteen daughter. For the last 6 years, I have been highly miserable, stressed, and unhappy. Instead of dealing with my issues like an average person, I started smoking a lot of cannabis to relieve my anxiety. I have been smoking since the age of 15, so cannabis didn't make me feel like I was partaking in anything severe or harmful. What first began as a joint once every few days quickly turned into 5 to 6 joints a day, every day minus the traveling, and even then, depending on where I went, I would smoke. Fast forward to 2022, I switched careers, and a successful friend pressured me into traveling to Colombia. I got the go-ahead and made the trip. It was mostly uneventful, except it was the first time I tried cocaine. I'm not a massive fan of the experience. But it was memorable. I felt like I walked away with some experience, but ultimately, it was not for me, or so I thought. I spent 8 months not touching cocaine, and then a family issue triggered me. One night out, I asked another friend, "Don't worry, they test for some cocaine because I didn't want to sleep or go home." Fast forward again, I began buying a gram here and there from the connections I made, and the weird thing about it is that it makes me feel calm, not hyper, which has the opposite effect on most people. I worry that I will have begun using regularly because I noticed a considerable increase in my job performance since my brain can focus on tasks when under cocaine. I feel ashamed because I don't think this is an healthy way to manage whatever is causing my brain to behave this way. One set of friends enjoys drugs, and the other set of friends and family are incredibly anti-drug and would not be supportive. I have not been running around or doing anything stereotypical that one might be getting into, no late-night escapades or binges or anything like that. It's just me secretly blowing through a gram during daylight hours too within 24 hours of purchase. Then, I beat myself up for about a week and do it again. This has been my reality for the last 60 days or so. My wife would not handle this news well and it would hurt her a lot, so I also feel like a piece of shit. Story 6. I hit a parked car but there was no damage, paranoid of what's to come. Hit a parked car today while backing into a space in a parking lot. A couple saw me and the woman screamed even though there was no damage. I reparked my car and left my number on their windshield, and drove away. Noticed that the guy was on the phone with somebody and now I'm paranoid of what's to come. Sad face. I've been in a worse car accident before and am really scared of the implication on my insurance, especially since it was in a mall and there were definitely cameras. Story 7. I drove drunk once, nothing happened, but I have never done it again. So last year I was an absolute wreck. I would come home from work, change out of my work clothes, lay down on the sofa, and stay there until I had to get up to shower for work the next morning. Dinner was a glass of chocolate milk. I wouldn't even remove my makeup. I had no friends and would only leave my house to go to work, grocery shop, and visit my sick parents. So I hit frick it and went out by myself. Now, I am a 5'3" woman who looks 90 pounds soaking wet. It wasn't smart of me to go out alone and I acknowledge that, but I was just so desperate to go out and do something. Anyway, I figured I would be fine. Did some pre-drinking at home and had a few shots of whiskey when I was out. I hadn't had alcohol in a while and my tolerance was shot, so I ended up getting way more trashed than I intended. I remember nothing about driving from the last club to my house. When I came to my senses I was legitimately disgusted with myself. You could have killed someone, I thought. Oh my god, what if you did? What if you hit a pedestrian without realizing it? I scoured the news for days after but didn't see anything. It really messed me up and I haven't been bar hopping since. I'm lucky that I didn't kill anyone. I'm lucky that I didn't get kidnapped or worse. Since then I've taken steps to fix myself. I got a puppy and having something to take care of and dote on has really helped. Enough that everyone I know has told me that I'm much better. My puppy honestly saved my life. I sometimes feel like I don't deserve her both because I was disgusting enough to do this and because I feel like a horrible person in general sometimes, but thank God I have her. Just felt like sharing because I was thinking about it earlier. I have a friend who was involved in a collision with a drunk driver as a kid. His mom died in that crash. I promised him I wouldn't drive drunk and I broke that promise. We don't hang out anymore but he is a good guy and I feel horrible whenever I think about it and him. Story 8. I stole money from my mom last year and I am conflicted. I stole money from my mom over a year ago. I stole probably around $200. Not at the same time but since they were big bills I would just take it. I stole it to go to a freaking gas station with my friend at the time. She had encouraged me to take money from my mother just so that we could feed ourselves, even though we already had food at home. The guilt still eats me alive to this day, and I can't tell my mom, she'd be so disappointed in me, especially because I've already f'd up before. My parents were struggling at this time. Looking back now, I don't know if that me stealing the money caused harm. It probably did. I was thinking about buying my mother a necklace for her birthday worth the same of what I stole. Because I saved money up and am able to buy her something nice, probably worth more. Should I buy her a necklace? I can't tell her, the consequences would be too severe, and she wouldn't look at me the same. I know I should face my actions but me and her are finally in a good place and I can't ruin that. Edit. Tie to everyone who gave me some advice on what to do. I told my mom and everything is all good now, knowing that if I didn't share it on here I probably never would have told her, so thank you, smiley face. Story 9. I sideswiped a big brown UPS truck that was double parked. I was driving down the street and was trying to go get my coffee on the right side. Then boom, a UPS truck was doubled parked. I seen it, but damn, I thought I cleared it. Sure did not. The forces of gravity pushed the back half of the car right into the front bumper of the brown truck. The bumper stole my rear quarter panel. Mind you, it wasn't even my car I was driving. So I kept it out all day and once it got dark I returned the car. Left the keys in the house and left. I went home. Little did I know somebody would drive it after me, go out drinking and not realize they sideswiped the car. I let years pass before I told on myself. LOL, we all laugh about it now. That's all for today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.